Hi everyone, welcome into this week's My Weekly CBS Fix. I hope you had a wonderful week. This week's video is dedicated as a refuah shlema, complete recovery for Nechama Bas Chai Rivka. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. In this week's Parsha, Parshas Va'era, the Egyptians start to receive their punishment from Hashem as Hashem starts to bring upon them the 10 plagues. And in this week's Haftarah, we read from the book of Ezekiel, Yechezkel, in which Hashem tells the prophet Yechezkel that he is going to start paying back Egypt for all the wrong that they have done, albeit 1,000 years later than the first story of Egypt. So those are the connections. One of the connections this week's parasha. Also, it says in this week's parasha that Hashem is doing all this to the Egyptians in order that they should know, because I am Hashem, I'm in charge of the entire world. And so too, it's a theme in this week's Haftarah, in order that today even, or then, in Ezekiel's times, that the Egyptians should know that I am Hashem. So I want to share with you 3 quick points about the Haftarah that we learned, but that we're learning. So the punishment for Egypt is not only for their arrogance, because Paro had said, I am God and I created the Nile and I am a God. He likened himself to a God, and he felt that he was a God, and wasn't only because of their arrogance, but rather the verse actually says, "Lo od lebeis Yisrael lemiftach masker avam," in order that Egypt should not be anymore to the Jewish people as somebody that they put their hope into. Meaning, in the past, when the Jewish people were threatened by their enemies, Egypt always promised to come to their aid. And they always put their trust in, it's okay, Egypt is going to come to our aid and help fight. And Egypt, of course, never showed up. But this was actually a sin for the Jewish people, because the Jewish people shouldn't have trusted in Egypt. They should have trusted in the one above, in Hashem. And so Hashem is telling us through Ezekiel that one of the main reasons that Egypt is being punished is because they shouldn't be a sore reminder for us about our sin. What was our sin in trusting in Egypt? This actually reminds me of an idea I heard from Rabbi Reber Shlita, who is the head dean in the Philadelphia Kolab of my uncle Shul. And he said that on Rosh Hashanah, when we ask Hashem to remember us for good, Zachreinu Latova, what does it mean, Zachreinu? It doesn't only mean, the word Zachreinu doesn't only mean remember us, but it means to be reminded of us. It means there's certain things in people in your life that if you went through old pictures of them, so you would see the time that your children spilled the soup all over the floor, picture of that, or the time that you took a picture of the report card that had F's on it. And then there are other pictures that you would see from them that there were great times. Now, when your children want you to go through their pictures, they want you to only remember them for all the good. They show you all the good pictures of them. So too, on Rosh Hashanah, we ask Hashem to remember us for all the good. Not remember us for all the good, but be reminded. Only allow those pictures of the good things that we did. Allow those to come in front of you, and that should help be a merit for us. Hashem should judge us favorably. So too, the Egyptians, Hashem had to get rid of them. You know why? Because if Hashem gets rid of the Egyptians, then the Jewish people will no longer look at Egypt as their haven, as the ones who are going to save them, and the ones who they're going to have faith in. And so Hashem has to get rid of that. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is, like we said, the verse keeps saying, in order that Egypt will know that I am Hashem. Now, this is really a backhanded message to us, that if Egypt should know that Hashem is God, how much more so we have to know that Hashem is God, because everything that Hashem did in Egypt to the Egyptians was ultimately all for our benefit. Now, it happens to be, it was actually for the Egyptians' benefit as well, because every human being has to know that there's God in this world. But really, we were the ultimate benefactor. So if Hashem does things in the world, that all the nations of the world should see that he is God, how much more so us. And the last point I want to share with you is the Laman Yeder, in order that they should know that I am Hashem God means, because Hashem first said, I'm gonna destroy Egypt for 40 years. They'll be desolate, and then after 40 years, I'll get wherever they scattered. I'll bring them all together, but there will be a lowly nation, in order that the Jewish people should know, in order that they should know that I am Hashem your God. Which means that any nation that has power or comes to power, anybody who becomes the head of state, is not because of their doing, but rather Hashem is guiding history. And whether it's Egypt back then, or it's Egypt today, or it's America today, or it's Israel today. We have to know that all the heads of state, all those affairs, they're all in Hashem's hand, in order that we should know, in order that they should know that there's only one ruler of the world who's guiding history. The only thing that we can do is make the right decisions, but ultimately who becomes the head of state in matters of political affairs, that's all up to Hashem. And they should know, we should know. A lot of knowing. We got to get working on it, and let's start knowing. So thank you for listening. Have a great Shabbos.